Who's that, Ollie?
Boo!
Oh.
Sure you don't want to come? No thanks. Hello?
들어가시게요.
The film opens with a young couple, Ian and his girlfriend Sam, who are excitedly planning a romantic getaway to ring in the new year. Eager for their adventure, they embark on their journey, anticipating the festivities to come. Their first stop is a hotel along the way, where they plan to gather supplies for their trip. However, an unsettling incident occurs when Sam exits the car and is startled by a barking dog from a nearby truck. This unexpected encounter leaves Sam feeling uneasy, while Ian, preoccupied with the map, struggles to find their route. At this moment, the truck's owner, German, approaches them. Noticing Ian's confusion, he offers assistance. Ian takes the opportunity to ask for directions to a nearby waterfall they intended to visit during their camping trip. Instead, German suggests a different location, Stone Creek, assuring them it's a great camping spot, which intrigues them. Ian and Sam decide to follow German's recommendation and head to Stone Creek. As they drive, Ian notices something odd. German is trailing them in his truck. This realization confuses Ian, nearly leading to a car accident, but he manages to regain control. When German passes them, Ian feels a sense of relief, thinking his worries were unfounded. Upon reaching the campsite, they are met with a chilling sight: an abandoned car parked nearby. Despite the eerie presence of the vehicle, they choose to overlook it and continue a bit further to set up their camp, ready to enjoy their time in the great outdoors. Tension builds when they spot another campsite nearby, leading them to assume the occupants must be out exploring. This revelation doesn't seem to bother them as they proceed to establish their own campsite. After setting up their tent, Ian steps outside to collect firewood for their bonfire. During his search, he stumbles upon a child's hat, a personal item that leaves him puzzled, especially since it belongs to a very young child. Unsure of what to make of this find and lacking any clear explanation, he decides to disregard it and heads back to their campsite. Meanwhile, the film introduces German and his brother Chuck, who are depicted in a rather unsettling light. They are seen leering at a girl with inappropriate intentions. The brothers then head to a bar to ring in the new year. While there, they engage with other girls, but the atmosphere quickly turns dark. Chuck discreetly takes pictures of a girl he is talking to, which German notices, causing him to become visibly upset. In the restroom, he confronts Chuck, seizes the phone, and smashes it on the floor, warning him against such behavior, recalling how similar actions had previously landed him in jail for years. As the countdown to the new year approaches, the tension in the bar escalates. Chuck grows increasingly aggressive, attempting to force himself on a girl, who responds with resistance and scorn, ultimately walking away after verbally berating him. Back in the forest, Ian emerges from his tent to relieve himself and hears strange noises from a nearby tent. Investigating, he finds that pigs have gotten into the food left behind in the other tent, raising alarm about the other campers' safety. His anxiety deepens when he checks his car and discovers a damaged tire. The story takes a sharp turn the following morning as Ian begins to change the tire, preparing for their journey home, while Sam starts to pack their belongings. In an unexpected turn of events, a young boy, unnoticed by Sam, dashes after her but trips and falls. Later, when Sam returns to the tent to gather the remaining supplies, she stumbles upon a surprising sight. The little baby who had been trailing her is now peacefully asleep near the tent. The child appears frail and undernourished, as if he hasn't had a meal in days. Alarmed by her find, Sam quickly calls for Ian. He responds without delay, instructing Sam to fetch a medical kit while he tends to the child. Together, they show immense care in their efforts to help him. Realizing they must ensure the child's safety, they attempt to leave in their car, only to discover a flat tire. Ian decides to use a nearby parked vehicle instead. At this moment, Chuck arrives in a car, having left a note for German that says, "Gone hunting." After reading the note, German chooses to leave as well. Thinking Chuck's actions might lead to trouble, Ian and Sam approach Chuck for help, explaining about the little boy they've found. Clearly disturbed by the child's condition, Chuck mentions he has seen the boy's family heading towards Stone Creek and offers to join Ian in searching for them, leaving Sam with the child in the car. As they depart, Chuck retrieves a rifle from his vehicle, revealing his identity as a hunter. They head to Stone Creek, but upon arrival, they are confronted with a horrifying sight: numerous lifeless bodies scattered across the area. Ian is deeply unsettled by this grim discovery. The narrative then shifts back 3 days, introducing another family, Rob, Margaret, and their 2 children, Em and Ollie, the latter being the baby who had been following Sam. Similar to Sam and Ian, This family ventured to the area for a camping getaway. The scene illustrates a typical day at the campsite. Em is engrossed in taking selfies, while her father, Rob, prepares meals for everyone. As night descends, the family gathers around the bonfire for dinner, relishing the serene outdoor atmosphere. During their conversation by the fire, Rob shares some local legends with his family, mentioning Stone Creek, a nearby spot known for its dangers. He recounts tales of visitors being kidnapped, robbed, and even murdered. Em visibly tenses at this story, prompting Rob to quickly clarify that he was just joking to ease the mood. After a delightful evening, the family retires for the night. The next morning, Rob and Margaret, along with their youngest, Ollie, opt for a hike. Before they set off, they pause to capture the moment with a family photo. Em, who isn't fond of hiking, chooses to remain at the campsite. While alone and absorbed in her phone, she suddenly hears strange noises from the bushes behind her. The unsettling sounds alarm her, leading her to seek refuge by sleeping in the car. However, the tranquility of the campsite is soon disrupted by the arrival of two ominous figures, German and Chuck, in a truck, accompanied by a menacing dog in a cage. Chuck exits the vehicle and starts inspecting the car where Em is hiding, both men casting her a chilling gaze. German urges Chuck to harm the girl, but Chuck hesitates, recalling his past prison sentence for similar offenses. Undeterred, German continues to search Em's tent, only to find it vacant, while Chuck remains fixated on Em, tapping on her car window and startling her awake. In a horrifying scene, Em is paralyzed with fear at the sight of Chuck and instinctively refuses to leave the car, despite his desperate pleas. As Chuck's aggressive behavior escalates, Em remains trapped inside the vehicle. He becomes increasingly menacing, insisting she exit, which leads Em to frantically honk the horn in a desperate call for help. This noise draws the attention of her parents, Rob and Margaret, along with German, who rush to the car to investigate the commotion. German arrives first and swiftly takes charge of the situation, forcibly dragging Em from the car at gunpoint. Rob arrives soon after, attempting to shield his daughter, but is quickly overpowered by German and knocked unconscious with a single, devastating blow. Meanwhile, Margaret leaves her youngest child, Ollie, in the tent and rushes to the car to defend her family. She bravely tackles Chuck, but he easily overpowers her. Em attempts to escape into the woods, but German intercepts her, cornering her with his weapon. In a series of horrific and vile acts, German and Chuck subject Rob's family to unimaginable suffering, all while Rob is helplessly forced to watch. During this nightmare, Chuck examines Em's phone and finds a family picture featuring a young boy named Ollie. They then interrogate Marg about Ollie's location, but she remains tight-lipped. German and Chuck engage in a twisted game, placing a can on Rob's head and taking turns shooting at it. However, Rob's movements cause the can to fall, prompting Chuck to mercilessly shoot him in the head, killing him before his family's eyes. German then repeats the cruel game with Marg, but when she fidgets too much, he knocks her out. While she lies defenseless, German tests his aim, and after Chuck ridicules him for missing, an enraged German shoots Marg in the chest and then callously executes Em with a bullet to the head. After committing their heinous acts, German and Chuck make their way to the tent, hoping to find Ollie. Unfortunately, they find it empty, as Ollie has wandered into the woods in search of her parents. With no sign of her, the two men return home, leaving behind a path of destruction and sorrow. Ollie's absence from the tent plays a crucial role in this narrative. His choice to leave in search of his parents turns out to be a fortunate escape from the immediate danger posed by German and Chuck. However, his situation remains dire as he is now alone in the wilderness. The story then transitions to the present day, where Chuck drives Ian to Stone Creek, the site of the horrific murder of Ollie's family. Upon arrival, Chuck is alarmed to discover that Marg's body is missing, indicating that she may still be alive and posing a threat to their safety. While searching the vicinity, Chuck and Ian encounter Margaret, but in a tragic turn of events, Chuck shoots and kills her while Ian watches in horror, realizing the extent of Chuck and German's brutality. Chuck coldly confirms Ian's worst fears, revealing that they killed Ollie's family and intend to do the same to him, but not before inflicting torture. Meanwhile, Sam is with Ollie when a furious German confronts them. In a desperate bid for safety, Sam and Ollie try to hide in the car, but German shatters the windshield to reach them. Luckily, Ian had previously given Sam a knife, which she uses to wound German and make their escape. As Sam flees, German sends his dog after her, but the chase takes an unexpected turn when the dog becomes distracted by a pig, allowing Sam to get away. In a fit of rage, Chuck fires his weapon carelessly and accidentally shoots German, mistaking him for Ian. Ollie's cries catch Chuck's attention, prompting him to chase after Sam. After a short pursuit, Chuck manages to seize Sam and pulls her away. Meanwhile, Ian, eager to use German's gun, prepares to shoot Chuck, but hides upon seeing him approach. Chuck, distressed, watches as his injured brother German suffers. Overwhelmed by Ollie's cries, Chuck forcefully yanks him from Sam, throwing the child to the ground. In his pain, German pleads with Chuck for a merciful end. Initially reluctant, Chuck ultimately gives in to his brother's desperate requests and, with immense sorrow, takes German's life. The plot thickens as Chuck's terror escalates when he kidnaps Sam, bringing her to the same place where he previously harmed Ollie's family. In a horrifying twist, Chuck begins to assault Sam but quickly changes his mind and decides to drive her away instead. Meanwhile, Ian, having survived the chaos, finds the keys to German's vehicle on his body. Determined to seek help, he drives to the police station, leaving Ollie alone in the woods. Ian informs the authorities about the traumatic events, prompting them to swiftly mobilize in search of Ollie, Chuck, and Sam. As Sam and Chuck drive, she seizes an opportunity to distract him, leading to a car accident when Chuck loses control and crashes into a tree. After the collision, Sam regains consciousness but remains tied to the steering wheel, with Chuck nowhere in sight. In a desperate bid for help, she activates the car's headlights, catching the attention of a passing police cruiser, which directs officers to her location. Meanwhile, as Ian exits the police vehicle, an officer stops him, and together with his partner, they head towards the crash site. However, their approach is met with violence as Chuck ambushes and kills all the responding officers in a chaotic shootout. In the midst of the gunfire, Ian is hit in the shoulder by a bullet, intensifying an already fraught situation. In a frantic act, Chuck holds both Ian and Sam at gunpoint, demanding that Sam drive the car. As they speed away, Sam inquires about Ollie's whereabouts. Ian, filled with remorse, reveals that he abandoned Ollie in his rush to find help. The atmosphere in the vehicle becomes increasingly charged, as Sam, intent on escaping this nightmare, suddenly floors the accelerator. This reckless move inflicts great distress on Chuck, leading to chaos as the car flips over, rendering Ian unconscious. A fierce struggle ensues between Chuck and Sam. Seizing a moment of opportunity, Sam grabs a heavy rock and strikes Chuck repeatedly in a desperate bid for survival, ultimately crushing his skull. This horrific act brings an end to Chuck's terror. The film concludes with poignant scenes of Sam and Ian recuperating in a hospital, highlighting the profound physical and emotional scars left by their ordeal. We are left pondering the fate of young Ollie, abandoned in the woods. Yet, the narrative offers a sliver of hope as it reveals that German's dog is with Ollie, suggesting that the loyal animal will safeguard and care for him until help arrives.